What's going on, guys? Teen Mechanic here. So today I figured that we may as well change it up. I had the opportunity to film this thing, thanks to my uncle for that. This is not at all what I usually do. My channel, most of the time, it has classic cars on it. Sometimes it doesn't, but nothing like this. So in this video, it's basically just a walk around and review of it. It's kind of an owner's review, although I mean I'm not the owner of it, but this car is being daily driven, and in this video we're going to go over how it is absolutely possible to daily drive a performance car that you can have ridiculous amount of fun in and still be able to drive it and not really suffer in any departments, whether it's practicality or seating even. Now obviously this thing was redesigned in 2018 for this design. Before it had skinnier headlights, they added this little divot here. They've got, these look like intakes. It's pretty cool. They have some little different designs, kind of like a facelift. This one is a 2021, and I have a theory that they're gonna change it pretty soon. They're gonna, maybe do a different kind of facelift, maybe a rear facelift, something like that. But overall, this thing has looked good for, I want to say, every single generation. Now, a lot of people have complaints about the 80s Mustangs, and I'm not a huge fan of the 80s, but they still maintain that integrity of the Mustang name. Especially this one. This one is a GT performance package. It's a fastback, not the convertible, obviously. So it is very highly sought after in the Mustang world. People usually go for this one. As you can see, I'm kind of blocking it, but it's got the 5.0, which we'll get to later. And this is the, for me, if I were buying one, this is the absolute most desirable Mustang that there is. So I think I've done enough talk, and now we'll go ahead and take a walk around of this thing. So this thing, as you can probably see, hopefully, this thing doesn't have any bad angles, at least not in my opinion. I mean, it just looks really good from every single angle. I mean, there's just nothing wrong with it. You can see how the body isn't flat like that thing, for example. From the back here, you may notice these taillights. These things look really aggressive, and the thing about them is everybody knows by now, Mustangs, they have sequential turn signals. Everybody knows that. That's really nothing special or new. Same with this side. I mean, I just think they do a really good job. Now, obviously, it's a GT and everything like that. It has a couple extra little perks like wheels, and of course the 5.0. I'd call that a little bit more than a perk, but this thing really is aggressive and does a really good job of being an outright performance car. Now, a lot of people call these things names, say that they drive into crowds at every single car race or drag strip. They do spin-outs coming out of a Cars and Coffee meet. Well, Hellcats actually are more notorious for that. Although, the thing is, these Mustangs, I think they don't, I mean, obviously they're still like the #1 selling sports car. Most people don't really know about Hellcats and Demons. I mean, they don't even make the Demon anymore. And I mean, you're gonna pay $100 grand for one of those, and you're gonna pay this one costs 50 grand, and keep in mind that's Canadian. So I think we've probably done enough of the outside now. We'll go ahead and take a look inside, and quite frankly, this is where you spend most of your time, but I don't necessarily think this is the most important part of the car. All right, so here we are inside the car. Now, Mustangs have gotten a lot more luxurious over the years. You can just see, I mean, it's actually quite comfortable in here. They offer these with Recaro racing seats, and I personally love the way they look, but you can't get them with the heated seats. They're not power, and I honestly think that these things bolster you just fine. And I mean, unless you're taking this on the track every day, you don't need the Recaro seats. And I think that the 5.0 and the stick shift, which I think is the most important part of this car, well compensates for the no Recaro seats. As you can see here, I mean, the shifter, I mean, this is the focal point. This is what you have to get if you know how to drive a manual. I really insist that you buy the manual. I mean, if you're daily driving the thing, if you're worried about your foot getting tired, I mean, the payoff still, you got to get the manual. If you don't know how to drive manual, I'm not picking on anyone that doesn't know how, or if you just want an automatic, get the automatic. I mean, it's fine. It really still does a great job. It's not like you're lesser if you get the automatic. I mean, that's just ridiculous. A Mustang is a Mustang. 5.0 is great. It's awesome to drive, and there are no fallbacks of that engine. Nickname for it is the Coyote, and they even put it in the F-150s, and for good reason. They're powerful and strong, and they hold their own. So what am I waiting for? I may as well go ahead and fire it up. Clutch in, we're in neutral. Oh yeah. So obviously, you probably can't hear it right now, but it's quite the rumble. And the thing is, they offer these cars with active exhausts, which are pretty cool. If you actually go inside of the menu here, in ones that have that option, you can go back and you can see here there are track apps which you can access your launch control and everything like that. You can set your rev limiting and everything. You've got rev matching, which is really cool. If you don't know what automatic rev matching is, when you downshift, let's say you're in fourth gear and you want to go down to third, and you put the clutch in and you go down to third, instead of having to give the gas a little thing like that so it doesn't stall out, you can actually, it automatically does that for you. You've got a G-force gauge on this thing. That is absolutely insane to me that you have a G-force gauge. I love that. That is really, really cool. You've got an acceleration timer. I assume that's for your track. You can, yeah, there you go. So you can go 0 to 50 kilometers an hour, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, which is 0 to 60. And that right there will time it exactly to see how fast you are. You've got your brake performance, which will tell you from 100 to 0. I mean, it's really cool. You've got a lot of serious features on here, including this one here, which is a lap timer. If you're down at the racetrack and you wanna time your laps to see if you're faster than all the Hellcats out there, and I'm gonna really be slammed for that, but you've got a lap timer, and that's really cool. It measures a quarter mile or whatever you've got to do. Okay, I think you guys are ready for it at this point. Enough talking. We've got the engine here. This is kind of the pièce de résistance, if you will. And this is the 5.0, the Coyote. It's very highly sought after. The 5.0, I think, well, Ford has had quite a few 5.0s in their past, although I believe it came out in the Mustangs, was in the 80s, I think it was, that they came out with the 5.0 in the Mustang, although that was quite a bit different than this one, I think, personally, and then put that in the F-150s as well, and they had them in the Ford Crown Victoria LTDs as well, those ones, but this thing here, I mean, this thing is unmatched. This thing, I'm not exactly sure what kind of horsepower this thing makes. I just can't remember the exact number, and I don't want to misspeak, so I'll put it up on screen right now, and torque, same thing. This thing should do 0 to 60. I'll do miles in this amount of time. I don't feel like memorizing all this stuff. So it's a pretty good engine. Obviously, if you were to drop this in an F-150, I mean, it's not geared for towing, but I mean, it's the same principle, same block even. This thing has really built a name for itself. Ford did a really good job designing this engine, and it's actually pretty reliable because in the F-150, for example, it replaced the Triton, the 5.4 liter. Most people are completely, I mean, that's a dreaded engine, and this thing, there's no issues with cam phasers and variable valve timing components. So this was a well thought out engine. Now, a lot of people really don't like Mustangs. I see it like on Instagram. I cannot escape it where people just think these are terrible. Like, I mean, people are either, it's only a Camaro or only a Charger or a Hellcat or something like that. I mean, it's just, to me, I don't agree with that. I think this, I mean, there's a reason that this thing is the best-selling sports car. Now, I'm not one to say that it's a real Mustang if it's a fastback, and it's stupid if it's a convertible. I'm not one to say that. I think a car is a car. I mean, I'm a car enthusiast. I'm not a fanboy. That's the big difference. But anyway, I mean, there's not really much to show here. I mean, the engine covers completely, I mean, it's covering the entire thing, and of course, and you can see my shadow there, and it's dirty. I mean, it's daily driven, which is kind of my next point. So yeah, this thing is daily driven by my uncle. He drives it every day. This is his car. This isn't his weekend car. This is his car. Yes, we live in Canada. That's the thing here. In the snow, this thing wouldn't do so well, although he still drives in the snow. This isn't just a summer car or anything, and you can do it. You can drive it in the snow. If you get good tires, you can drive it in the snow. You can drive it on gravel if you're okay with replacing a windshield or 5 every year. This thing is a very good, dare I say it, bargain. I think that if you are in the market for something that is ridiculously fast, and I mean ridiculously fast, and I don't say that lightly. I mean, yes, a Hellcat might do the quarter mile faster. Yes, it might be faster and and have more traction, and even have a bigger engine. But keep in mind, a Hellcat costs $100,000. I mean, yeah, sure, you can get it starting at 80. But, I mean, this car isn't 80, this car isn't 70, it's not even 60. You can get this thing starting cheaper than the Fusion. Now, yes, that gets you a 4-cylinder EcoBoost and maybe a convertible if you're lucky, but, I mean, still, it is just an outstanding car, and I highly recommend it if you're really looking for something fast that isn't going to destroy your wallet. All right, guys, so I think you've heard me talk about it plenty now. I think that you get a good idea of kind of what this thing is about and my standpoint on it. So now I'm going to cut to a clip where I drive this thing. There were a couple issues saving it, but I got some good footage of it. So anyway, hope you enjoy that. So really up until today, I've only been a passenger in one of these Mustangs here. And I think that some driving footage is in order, because when I was in the passenger seat of this car, I was absolutely nothing short of blown away. Like this, I can't quite explain it. As you can see, like I'm at a loss of words. This car, I think I had Mustangs underestimated, because I expected them to be quick and zippy, but they are rocket ships. So I am going to be driving this thing, and we'll see just how insane they are. I've never really actually gotten to drive it until today, so this is going to be awesome. All right, guys. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to try and experience the definition of spirited driving. So we'll go ahead and give this a shot here. I'm very eager. There's no launch control on or anything. I think it's in comfort mode too, so we'll see here. If I owned a Mustang, that feeling would never get old. I've got low gas, no surprise. I absolutely had Mustangs completely underestimated. I never, ever thought they would be that fast. Like, what other word is there for it? Fast, like, that is just insane. So if you think that you need to buy a Lamborghini to have some fun and enjoy some spirited driving in a car, go down to your local Ford dealer and test drive a base model 5.0 Mustang and get the manual. If you know how to drive a manual, get the manual. An automatic is great too. I'm not bashing anybody that can't drive manual or wants an automatic, that's fine. But if you do know how to drive manual and you have the capacity on a daily basis to drive manual, buy the manual. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike. But let me know in the comment section below how I can improve, and let me know what you want to see, and if you enjoyed this content, because this is absolutely atypical to what I usually do. So let me know what you thought about it. But anyway, other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.